What's up, you guys? My name is Jason, and wherever you are in the world today, welcome back to the grind. Let me know if this situation sounds familiar to you. You've passed the resume screen, you've done all the coding assignments, and you sat through 6 whole hours of face-to-face interviews, and you're feeling pretty good about yourself. So you wait a week, and then you get this email. We've all been there. Let's get you out of there. Here are the top 5 reasons you fail your technical interviews. So before we get started, I'd really appreciate it if you could just hit that like button. I'm just getting started, so every single like helps me a lot. And this also just helps me let me know if this is the kind of content that you're interested in. So tell me in the comments, why do you think you fail at interviews? Reason number 1, you aren't clearly explaining your solutions. Your solution is like your baby. You got to show it off. Be proud of it. And when it comes to technical interviews, you have to make sure that your interviewer knows why your solution is the most optimal, why your solution is the best. And it's also part of your job to convince them that this is the case. It's very okay to not be shy about your solution. Give every detail you think is relevant to explain thoroughly what you were thinking about. One thing I really like to do actually is that I just like to pause and ask an interviewer, do you want me to talk more about this topic? And if they say yes, I always have an answer prepared, because this demonstrates that I have mastered the subject they're asking about, and I can almost freestyle off whatever I'm working on. That I didn't just memorize a solution, and this really helps solidify this impression of you as a confident software engineer who owns their solution and knows exactly why their solution works. So always take time to over-explain your solution when you get the chance, because this is really your time to shine. Reason number 2, you are giving suboptimal solutions. Sure, you got the right answer, and you're passing all the trivial, basic test cases. Have you asked yourself, though, does my solution scale? Specifically, are you asking yourself, what is my solution's time complexity and space complexity? This is something you must do with your interviewer. It doesn't matter if they ask or not, you always have to mention it, because a solution that doesn't scale is a solution that doesn't pass. I've never been through an interview or conducted an interview where I wasn't, where the concept of scaling was not talked about. And this is important because no matter how large the company you're working at or how big your project is, scaling is one of those fundamental principles that every good software engineer should be considering in their solution. To be completely honest, most interviewers at the most prestigious firms actually just won't pass you if you don't give the most optimal solution by the end of the interview. So what do you do if you're not sure if you have the optimal solution? Well, you can just ask. Remember, interviews are a two-way street, and interviewers they want you to ask questions. What you can do is you can work together with your interviewer and talk about potential test cases that will demonstrate whether or not you are giving the most optimal solution. You can talk about where things, which parts of your function affect the time and space complexity, what makes things faster, what makes things slower, and why you use specific data structures to improve the scaling and time complexity of your solution. These are all things that your interviewer is going to look for, and if you're able to point them out during your interview, you're going to be getting a lot of points from your interviewer. Reason number 3, your code sucks. If you looked at your own code a week from now, how quickly could you understand it? Do you use variable names that make sense? Do you repeat a lot of code? Does everything fit into a single huge function? Here's the simple reality. Nobody likes to read garbage code. So take pride in your work and write a solution that is both maintainable and concise. For example, if you see yourself using the same logic again and again, maybe you just point that out to your interviewer and say, hey, I could write this as a helper function. So most of the time, you actually don't even need to write the function. Just tell them that this line of code or these lines of code are being used again and again. And there's probably a better way to abstract this away, and that demonstrates a deeper, mature understanding as a software engineer. Another thing that I think really helps is when you have variable names that are both easily understandable and concise. For example, just ask yourself, right? If I looked at this variable a week from now, would this still make sense for me immediately? Because when it comes to production, you're going to be writing code that will be looked at years and years down the line, and you need to have the same mentality when you're writing your code during an interview. I think the best mindset for this kind of situation actually is just treat your code as a mini version of what you would want to push to production. Reason number 4, you're not asking for feedback. And this is one that I actually really want to emphasize, because I feel like a lot of folks, there's a lot of folks in engineering who are shy. And, maybe you're not outgoing naturally. But to be successful at interviews, you need to remember that interviews are not this one-way street. In fact, interviewers want you to have a conversation with them. And you just talk about all the ways that you could have approached the problem, and they want to understand the way you think. Here's something that you might not have expected. Interviewers want you to succeed. Just think of it this way. Interviewers are taking time out of their own days to evaluate your performance. And they want a positive result out of that time investment they put into you. So give your interviewer an opportunity to help you out. And like I said, this is one of those things that, the less shy you are, the more benefits you're going to get out of it. Always give an opportunity for an interviewer to ask you questions and work through things together. Treat every interaction like you are already on the team. You've already been hired, and you're just talking through a code review together with your teammates. And this is the kind of behavior that your interviewer wants to see from you, actually, because this will demonstrate how you are on the job, how you think, how you interact with them. And the more familiar you become with them during your interview, the more comfortable they are eventually, writing a report about you and saying, this is someone that I want to work with. Reason number 5, you don't know the fundamentals. I hate to be the guy who tells you that you're not practicing enough, but chances are you're not practicing enough. Let's not beat around the bush. When you get a question, are you able to figure out immediately what concepts your interviewer is trying to test you on? Are you relying on these quick and dirty tricks, or are you memorizing solutions, or do you actually understand what the underlying principles are that should be guiding your solution? This is the single most important reason. And if if this reason really resonates with you, you got to listen to me closely. People who don't know the fundamentals will not survive in this industry. And, I'm not talking about fundamentals in terms of, like memorizing how to flip a binary tree. I'm talking about things that are in books like this one. Can you tell me why a default dict is preferable to the built-in dict data structure of a Python? These are the kinds of questions that you'll be asked every day on the job. And people will pick up very quickly if you don't know these fundamentals. And, I'm sorry if that sounds intimidating, but it's the reality. And I think the silver lining is that you don't need to be smart to know the fundamentals. It's all about effort. If you put the time into it, then you can do it, And to that end, to help you guys out, I've listed out some of the books I think really helped me develop these fundamentals, and I've added them to the description below. So check them out if you feel like this is something you're weak on. So there you have it, the top 5 reasons you're failing technical interviews. If you've made it this far already, all I'm asking is for you to like and subscribe. It would really help me out. And just remember, I believe in you, and I believe that you'll pass that interview. Just be honest with yourself and be willing to put in the effort. You can do this. Well, until the next one, take care and keep on grinding.